Chill.
We are broadcasting super live all of a sudden.
Oh.
But I was wrong. This show will be largely dedicated to the new releases that came out from Maxon for Cinema 4D and for our Red Giant tools, and just an all-around lovely update to a bunch of stuff. So pretty exciting things. And we're happy to have all three of us here this week because when we don't have all three of us, sometimes we get deleted from
People
YouTube
die.
altogether.
We do get deleted from YouTube altogether. Why did that happen?
It turns out when you come for John Wick comes for you, which...
So last week, just to catch you guys up, we basically took the infamous famous, it's wonderful, stairwell scene from John Wick, specifically the bit of him rolling down the stairs. And our attempt was our hope was to attempt to make an endless loop of that rolling down the hill. We also spent time talking about other ways to loop, seemingly unloopable footage. We learned some very interesting stuff, not just about copyright law, but also about ways to like hide a loop for social media videos, for example. We didn't accomplish the John Wick loop on the show. However, Hashi, you got busy. I mean, talk through this thing.
Well,
you
yeah.
did a camera projection?
Well, yeah, we spent... I mean, it's unfortunate that the documentation isn't there, that I totally failed live at trying this. But I became obsessed over the weekend and did it. I don't know.
You did. I'd like to show everybody the clip of, because of copyright law.
We got to be careful.
We have to be careful.
Probably that sound will identify it right away as what movie it comes from. So
We
is there
think
anything
it's
you can do
sound.
over there on that end?
Yeah, I can try something. Here, let's try this. So Hashi, tell me what exactly we just saw and how we saw it.
Well, I took all of the frames and fed them into if you're on a PC, the free software called 3DF Zephyr, and I got this thing right here. As you can see...
Oh, that's the stairs. Look at that.
Look at that. I fed it 50 frames from the start. That's what you can get with the free version, is photogrammetry out of 50 frames.
Did you have to paint out Wick?
What's kind of amazing about if you're feeding something like this to a photogrammetry file or a program is that it looks for consistencies between photographs. The thing that it did not find consistent was the rolling human in the middle, which means that when it rebuilt the model, there's no human present.
That's nuts.
Isn't that kind of cool? So, like, from afar, this is pretty cool. Like, you can definitely tell this is that staircase. But what's kind of funny is that there'd be moments right here. You can sort of see, like, John Wick's shadow and these crazy, like, chasms that would just happen because the lighting was too bright in those areas, and so it didn't know what to do with it. And so I ended up with this thing that was not quite usable, but it was so informative. And so I was able to grab some pieces of this, rearrange them into this new piece, where I grabbed some elements of each bit and then tried to generate some new textures. This was an instance where both 3D plane stamp in After Effects was helpful to extract big flat surfaces from the texture, and then Photoshop's generative fill was great at doing things like, I only have this little bit of the sidewalk, but I need a whole card of it. And so it would just fill in the rest of the card. So I could add flat planes like this one, and obviously, let's see, where's the other plane? This plane right here, where I was able to feed it an out-of-focus picture. And I actually used Jason Murphy's awesome plugin in Photoshop, where you could take the blurry image of this and say, use a diffusion model on it and say it's a sharp photograph. And it gave me this, which is pretty cool. I also deleted some of the worst geometry, like the railings and things, and replaced them with these little models of railings and a lamppost and trees and stuff. I'm over-explaining this again. Why am I explaining so much so early?
It's important that you do. You're not over-explaining anything. This is incredibly cool.
after all of that craziness, I was able to generate this little bit. The very, very panic room David Fincher-esque is what I feel like.
Yeah, it really is.
So you'll see one of the things that I did in here is there's that henchman who's running down the stairs. And so I added a camera tilt up to reveal him just for that little bit, and then the camera would pan down. And I over-rendered this because the actual shot is more like ratio is this, 2:3:5. And so it would occasionally pan down to Wick on the stairs and then back up to show the henchman catching up with him. And I could use that one little card of footage just over and over again. Just whenever the camera panned up, you would see him still running down the stairs, and then the camera would pan down to Wick and then back up. I was able to find a pretty good, reasonably loopable, but also enough variety RotoBrush 3 version of John Wick rolling. And the way we combined those was very simple. I just dragged let's see, let me find an example frame. Here we go. So there you go. Put rolling Wick in front of these rolling stairs, and you start to get a kind of a cool effect. But what really brought it home was then, for all of these, I would sort of place it approximately how he would fall down the stairs with some consideration to what direction he was rolling. And then I would just dive in here and say, he's missing a shadow. So I would go and add in RGVFX shadow. I would put it on the blend mode behind mode, so it could be like that. And then you can just quickly, soften and do whatever to make this kind of a contact shadow like that. And the fun thing about shadow is that you could use multiple instances of it. So I made one primary shadow that was sort of, I sampled from one of these like darker shadowy colors like that. And then I did a second shadow that was a lot tighter to the body, kind of like this. So it was more of a contact shadow kind of thing. And then I animated them to kind of do this.
Michael Powlick says that shadow is actually really selling it when he passes the lamp.
Why, thank you. So yeah, so you just can easily go like this and say keyframe these points. So as he's coming down, like the lamp is, casting a shadow that way. And then as he gets closer to the lamp, the shadow direction should be more like this. And the center of the body is more here. And then there are all sorts of things like this feature right here, the displacement map. You can look at the source footage behind it and then say horizontally displace it based on the footage behind. And so your shadow will have some texture detail from the footage. So if I started to scroll through here and I put the shadow like this direction, you can see that it'll become this like textured thing right here. Oh yeah, there we go. If we project it down onto the stairs, you can see it gets broken up over the actual little cracks in the sidewalk and stuff. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's really new, and
do whatever.
And we got similar controls in the reflection tool as well.
They're like cousins, I think. Shadow and reflection. I got to use the reflection tool a bunch this week also. The reflection tool looks like this. Watch. Reflection. See, it's like a shadow. So we could pretend it was raining out here.
Makes it look like a wet
there we
staircase.
Go. Look at this wet staircase.
You can blur it. You can smear it.
And I also made a longer version of the video, which is posted to social, which had to transition from my Wick roll into the actual clip, and it worked pretty well. I was surprised because I'd only eyeballed the camera movement.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty seamless little transition considering you eyeballed it. I didn't even watch it long enough to see that it ended. I just saw the beginning where you transitioned from the...
Look at that. There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's nuts that
I just saw where...
It actually, even his long version still loops.
Yeah, this concludes the Hashi talks about old stuff.
Are you sure about that? Does it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you did miss some of the fun things that we had last week, like my fun handheld video loop also.
Yeah, since they don't have the episode, you should at least like roll through this just real quick.
Oh man, I can't play it with the audio though.
Get it? Roll. Because
incredible. Well, you can go find this clip on social with audio, but this is a fun figure out where the loop is, because it's just Hashi talking to the camera forever.
Nick Smith says there's a joke here about this being a really good drop or something. And Gorilla's Gaming says something in Russian. That is, this is exactly how the fourth part of the franchise went downhill. But Gorilla's Gaming, can we please keep the chat in English so I don't have to keep copying and pasting into translators? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I guess that does conclude our segment on Gaussian splatting.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it. I thought so too.
Amazing. So, bloop, 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 bloop. Transition to new stuff.
New stuff. I need new stuff.
We do need new stuff.
Have a lot of new stuff. And here's the thing. I know about all this stuff, but I actually have not, and intentionally not, dived into a lot of it. I mean, some stuff I have because it's been in development for a while. But I am coming at this like a lot of the audience might be, where I don't know what the hell you're talking about, guys. So how do we want to do this? What do we want to jump into first?
Well, that's a good question.
Well, yeah, our thumbnail teased the new particle system.
I'd like to see some of that.
I feel like we should. Ooh, since I have the stairs pulled up, I feel like that would be a fun way to demo it.
Yeah, do it. Should I go to the screen?
Why not?
Now, while we're getting that set up, just to preface this, Cinema 4D has had a couple of different particle systems for quite some time. It's got the old standard particles and thinking particles. And they were both in there for a very long time. And thinking particles was very old, and standard particles was very old and very limited. Now, when Cinema 4D introduced fields, and specifically the field force modifier, I said field force.
I don't have it anymore, do I?
It was too bespoke.
We weren't using it very much, and so I had to make room.
Well, we're about to start using it a lot more because the new particle system works with field forces. But anyway, the field forces brought some more control over the particle system. But
so much.
Man.
But it was still the old particle system. You could only just shoot particles, and then that was pretty much it. You could just move them better. But now, after the grand reception of the new Unified Dynamics system in Cinema 4D that's GPU based, people were like, come on, particles has got to be next. And indeed, particles is next. So now we have particles inside this same unified simulation system. So now we have GPU accelerated physics dynamics for rigid bodies, soft bodies, cloth, including ballooning, ropes, fire explosion, smoke type fluid sims, and particles. We don't have flip type fluid sims in there yet, or APIC, or any of those kind of like watery fluids, but we have gaseous fluids. We've got particles, and whoo boy howdy, is that particle system something else? I was playing with it just it was my first time touching it. Was on the NAB show floor in the demo pod when no one was there asking about Red Giant things. And sometimes when people were asking about the new particles, I just pulled it up. I was on an M1 Studio, I think M1 Max, so not like even close to latest and greatest chip. I said, well, here's 1,000 particles per second. Oh, that's fine. 10,000 particles per second. Oh, still real time. 100,000 particles per second. And it still just was like, no big deal. Here's 100,000 particles per second for 300 frames, like full real time. Even like I was like, 200,000, and it still went just fine. Threw some turbulence in there. It was fun. Now, in addition to the fact that you can just spew so many particles, it's also got a very involved, if you want it to be, a little system for conditions. Like if the particle is this old, it starts doing something new, or if the particle is this big, it starts doing something new, and you can map all kinds of things to all kinds of things to get really involved particle effects. Real quick, Hashi, before you go into this,
if you weren't paying attention to the stream, now you are.
Before we get into this woman on a chair business, go pop into your asset browser real quick.
Look at that.
And just type in the word particle.
Particle.
And you'll see there's a ton of really cool presets there. And load in the arrows one. That's one of my favorites.
Let's see. What if I wanted to know what was going to happen with these? I can just hover over them, and it'll show a little like preview animation.
Brand new feature.
Look at that. What a cool way to browse these things.
Do the arrows one. The arrows one's great. Boop. So this arrow one, first of all, before you even hit play or anything, look at that little README button. When you're starting to learn when you're starting to learn the new particle system, all these examples have little regions that kind of explain what's happening. So in this case,
what's happening is we're using the
you
stick
snuck
modifier.
Documents into my Cinema 4D. Incredible.
Wait, this whole time.
Cinema 4D with additional reading?
Cinema 4 Documents. The D is for documents.
It's been there this whole time. It's just more easily accessible now.
It was there the whole time. What I love about these notes is I mostly know them from whenever I, a novice in Cinema 4D, am asking Dr. Sassy or Noseman or Darren or someone or Jonas how to do something in Cinema 4D. Every now and then they'll be like, here, I recreated the entire thing that you were planning to do, and here are little like notes next to everything. It's like like borrowing someone's like, you're like house sitting for someone. It'll be like, oh, and this is where I put this modifier.
Now this particular system is really clever because they've got these arrows that fly through the air and then stick to the ground. So they've got keyframed animation on the arrows, but the particle systems tells it to keep that keyframe animation at frame 0 until the particles stick. And once the particles stick, then it lets the keyframe animation play. So what happens is, if you'll hit play, and you
what? No!
The arrows come flying in and then stick and wiggle. It's so cool. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that neat? It's so cool. Like it's very simple, very easy to set up, very clever, and it's such a good result. And that's because again, you can control so much stuff with this particle system. So he's controlling the keyframed animation of these arrows with the particle system. As you know, are you sticky? No. Then don't play. Then keep the particle animation at 0. And as soon as it gets to sticky state, it says, "Go ahead, play." Basically.
Take that, Kurosawa.
I just want to crank the number of particles up, but then we can fight in the shade.
This is
what 300 reference there. Or ancient Greek history reference if you haven't seen the movie or the graphic novel.
So fun. So I don't remember when you were just talking about all the cool things about this, if you mentioned that a beautifully comprehensive training series is available for this.
I did not mention it. Yeah, when you're wanting to learn this, go to Cineversity. There's a great training series from Noseman. Well, there's 2 of them. One is like, here's basic way to think about stuff. Like, here's how the system works on a like more conceptual level. And then there's a whole other bigger series showing this, like more specific tasks. First, we're going to look at all these icons on Hashi's desktop. And then...
That's part of the process. You have to do it. So if you're not near his desktop, you have to find it and look at it. You have to find it.
Add a desktop near you.
But more importantly, go to maxon.net to the little learn link right at the very top and click on Cineversity. And right at the front of it, you'll see, hey, there's particles overview and then particles, objects, and settings, which goes a lot more in depth. And there's how many? 20-something, 29, and 12.
Amazing.
So,
yeah.
you know.
Lots of information, but broken down into the, all the bits that you need, which is really cool.
Yeah, you're not lacking for options.
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Noseman is a very good teacher. It just is really, really good at giving you all the information you need in a very straightforward and understandable way.
And coming hot into your chat is a link for a really cool overview series of all the new things in this new version of Cinema 4D from Rocket Lasso, Chris Schmidt.
What?
Yeah, and
we're just bringing the hits.
Say, it's a 4-hour-long video because...
And we're going to watch the whole thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Rocket Lasso.
It's 4-hour long. It's a 4-hour-long video because the new particle system is just so... There's so much to it, especially since it's version 1. It's impressively a lot to it. Are you going to make a rainy nighttime scene? Because I think that'd be a fun way to...
Oh, that's a good point.
Demo it.
So, yeah. So in this will be a poorly... this won't be the greatest, but...
and that's the VFX and Chill promise.
Exactly. So I've got this scene here. It's got some good little bits of geometry in here. In fact, this piece of geometry was designed to be cloned at an angle, so this part would actually overlap.
Remind me again how it was designed.
It's designed to be cloned.
No, but how? Like, remind me again how it was designed. What process was used?
Basically, I knew that
Gaussian splat. He wants you to say Gaussian splat.
Thank you.
But the Gaussian slot didn't work. Anyway, I'm going to, what do I want to do? I'm just trying to pad this out a little bit because I want a little bit more ground. There we go. Doop. A little bit more geometry over here. Because I can take all of these pieces of geometry that make up this staircase, namely these objects right here, and I can use a simulation tag and say these are all collider objects. And since the new particle system works with this, I can then go up to simulate, and under here is the new particles categories right here. So your emitters, your groups, conditions, and modifiers. So I'm going to create a basic emitter, which creates this little square right here. And we'll just play so you can see. Boop. So that looks very reminiscent of the old particle system. But, let me see, let me just turn up my frame count. It's snowing sideways. So obviously I could probably rotate this card to, 90 degrees. And now it's rainy. It's a rainy night, which is cool. But these particles really aren't doing anything. They're going straight through all of these objects.
Yeah,
but
come on,
even though I said that they were going to interact with them. So we've got to make it so these will interact. Right now, they're falling just because of the direction of my emitter. Whenever you want to see your particle simulation play again, you got to skip back to frame 0 and then start the simulation again, like that. So I'm going to move my emitter up here to the top of the stairs, sort of. I don't know, somewhere like that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, so it's a more concentrated little area. And then I'm going to, you'll see that over in my object, let's see, can you see my whole screen? I don't remember. Yes. Over here, there's the emitter object, and there's also this little folder called particle group. Now, what's really cool about this is it makes it so you can organize particle behaviors into different groups. So, for example, this particle group is sourcing this emitter, okay? So if I wanted to do something like gravity in here, I can just go over to simulate forces and add a gravity force. And if I wanted to just be part of that particle group, I can drag it into here just for visual organization. And then from my particle conditions, my modifiers, I can grab the collide object because I want these particles to collide with stuff. And just because I like doing it, I put them all in the group here. So now if I press play, look at that, those particles. I hope this is big enough on the screen. All right, just goes bouncing down the screen.
It's a hailstorm.
And this is kind of a miniature, the scene isn't actually to proper scale. So I'm going to tell my velocity acceleration to be something more like 200. There we go. Now this is a little bit more to scale for what should be happening here, which is pretty cool. And what I found remarkable about this particle system is that it's interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Reasonably real time. And let's see, what are we emitting right now? We're emitting 100 particles per second, which is fine. But what if we were emitting 100 particles per frame?
And same playback speed.
Same playback speed. And in fact, same interactivity as live. This is craziness.
That's crazy.
And then there are all sorts of things that you can learn to do, like the conditions of what happens when they collide. Right now, under collide, if I go to that tag, you can see that they're set to bounce at 100. I could turn that down. So they do something more like this.
Oh,
now it's more like a flash
we need to say hi to Fabio from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi,
Fabio from Phoenix,
Michael Palek
Arizona.
says, now it's a moisture wicking comp.
Incredible.
Damn it, Michael.
So,
upsetting.
as you can imagine, what I love about this is that the sheer number
it's
of particles.
fast. It's easy.
It's insane. Look at this. Rolls right down the stairs, and because there's a little bit of
Over in pairs.
the scan actually has some proper geometry, it knows that the stairs are that. And there are really cool things like condition. I always think they're in conditions. They're all in modifiers. Flocking. If I throw in some flocking right here, now I can say, I want you, let's see, there's a cohesion strength and separation strength. If I want it to look more like liquid, I could turn up the cohesion strength and distance. And so now they'll actually try to kind of cling together a little bit more the way liquid would, which is kind of cool.
Now stop, we don't have a full liquid sim yet. Don't get crazy.
What? Well,
yes,
in the meantime,
you
this
get
is
some
what's
very
going to have to make
liquidy
me
looking
happy.
things.
Is this particle group, especially because if I wanted
Michael,
to, I could do my
Michael
favorite little
Pollack
thing.
says it's fast previewing. Yeah, no, I threw 200,000 particles per second on an M1 Max chip, and it was fine, like full on fine. It's ridiculous.
It's wild. In case you wanted to recreate the end of Ghostbusters, check it out. You can have. I just threw a volume builder inside a volume mesher here, and then on the volume builder, I have it sourcing the particle group. And if I did that,
I was drawing pictures saying, "Can you customize the particles with 3D shapes?" 100% you could.
Oh yes, you can. Just like in this arrows example.
Yeah, in the arrows example you had a second ago, it's putting geometry in the scene. You can also use it to clone like if you're using Redshift, to have Redshift instances beyond the particles. You have so much control.
Here's a question.
It's ridiculous.
If you were to drop, say you were to put ragdoll versions of one of us as a particle, would the ragdoll physics apply as the particles? Like if you were to drop 100 Seths.
Ooh. That's a good question.
Down the stairs.
I think not, because the part
feels like too much to ask for.
Especially for version 1. Now, Luke and Dad Productions, speaking of too much to ask for, says they want to talk to the city planner who thought putting a lamp in the middle of stairs was a good idea. They're not expecting people to be falling down it, and maybe you could catch yourself before you fall down.
Well, there's a rail. I mean, in the defense, there's a rail going down the middle, but
I did turn off the railings a second ago.
Spider-Man turned off the railings.
Oh wait, look what I could do. I could take this lamp post, which I realized I didn't make part of the equation earlier. So street lamp. All these pieces, I'm going to connect and delete these real quick so I can have one object. There we go.
By the way, is this file a duplicate?
Who knows? I'll just increment it a couple times. That's probably
We have
fine.
big plans for these stairs.
Okay, simulation tag. I could turn this into a collider. And so now, in theory, I'm glad you mentioned the lamppost.
Yeah, look at this. Look at it.
Okay, let me turn off the. There we go. Okay, put this up here.
You know what this reminds me of?
What does this remind you of?
Did you ever see that Sony Bravia commercial with the bouncy balls?
Yeah, where this bouncy ball is going down the steps and
Oh yeah. Wait, let me get rid of this thing. I'm going to make this larger.
Hang on a second. Let's see.
And see, I'm going to go back to the emitter. So, yeah, for that Sony Bravia commercial, it was closer to. Oh wait, not pulse. I want it to be about.
Let me know when you're ready.
Oops, constant.
All right, let me know when you're ready, and we'll do the heartbeats video, the bouncing balls video. Ready?
Sure. I'll quickly grab a little sphere here. Make it.
Well, let's not get ourselves copyright stricken again.
Oh, it's okay.
Hey, we are.
They're gonna be like, you directly ripped off the Bravia commercial. You recreated it perfectly. Oh, see, I'm touched. Look at this, moving.
I mean the music.
See, I'll make them a little bit larger. There we go.
There we go.
And then, oh wait, what do I need? I need.
Give me a view right up in the middle of it.
We need particle colors first.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Okay, let's turn this down. We could either turn the whole world.
Well, you're writing your own
speed
lyrics.
Down. Let's see, okay, I'm going to get rid of the flocking, and I'm going to make the emitter speed slower. It's not going to fall gently.
All right.
There we go.
I forgot how
Beautiful.
soft and quiet that song was. I thought it would have more impact with this. But...
Amazing. So,
but yeah, it's really
so there you go. It's a new particle system, and look how fast it is. Like that's my favorite thing is I have loved being able to just watch my previews or animations in cinema just in general, but being able to do it with particle systems is a dream.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. We did it, guys.
Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, I need more frames. There we go. More frames, and then of course I could, just like with anything, you could dive into the properties of these and do all sorts of crazy things. Make the
that's so cool.
Make larger and varied sized particles. Oh, this is reminding me of that. I Could Be in a Zoo, or what is that book called? The
what?
It's about an animal that wants to be in the zoo and is like talking to someone, and he has these spots, and he can take off the spots and like juggle with his spots and do all these things, and is trying to be impressive to be part of the zoo, but the zoo doesn't want him. And then in the end, like, little girl passing by or something is like, you should be in the circus. And so then the last frame is that now he's a circus star, even though he never got to be in the...
It's not Spot the dog, right?
Put Me in a Zoo? Is that it?
Put Me in a Zoo? Let's see.
Something
you
like
say that to me every week. Oh, Put Me in a Zoo, yeah. By Robert Lockshire.
Amazing.
Luke and Dad Productions says, can the particles be emitted for pyro?
Dr. Seuss,
There's a demo scene that shows that somewhere, Hashi, but you probably need to close out some of these other scenes.
Yeah, let's see, I'm going to close that.
Because every one of these scenes pulls GPU resources.
That's true. Let's close these stairs.
Speaking of pyro, Nick Smith says the particle system is the most fun thing to just sit and play with since pyro. Yeah, that's probably right. I think there's an example where the particles are spewing out fire. One of these examples.
Yeah. Take precautions when playing with real fire or with particle systems. What am I doing? I feel like I have some kind of dialog box that's not showing. There we go. Close this. Close this. Oh, and here's my fun.
Oh yeah. We need to see what you're doing with this.
This is my first example. I did show this last week.
It's just like that Deadpool movie.
Just like that Deadpool movie. Famous scene from Deadpool.
It was Deadpool 2, but yes.
Deadpool 2.
Hashi, did you have to turn off your safe for work checkbox in Sketchfab to get that model, or
you know what? I don't remember.
That looks like one that would be not shown in a family.
Nick Smith says this book was called Put Me in the Zoo.
We bought a zoo? I heard we bought a zoo.
Amazing.
Yeah,
well, I'm going to move on from this file.
See if there's an example of particles emitting pyro. Now, I do know
that woman. Do it from that same project file.
One. No, we just need to see the basic one.
All right.
Go in there. First before you do that, grab. I can't see your screen well enough. I'm going to switch to right. Go down. Stop. Move. Go back up. Down. Wherever you were. Go left. Far left. Down one. Down one. That one. This scene is one of my. It's so beautiful. It's using pyro to advect the particles. So give it a second to launch. Just has to initialize GPU on has to initialize pyro on his GPU, and then the particles, and then boom, you get almost real time. Wow. Fire, smoke, explosion simulation, driving.
Using the advect. Look
billions
at that.
Of particles.
And the system that I'm on, is no spring chicken.
Yeah, what GPU do you have?
I have this is a 2080.
So. Imagine you 4090 folks. What you could be doing. And Havana.
This is ridiculous. Look at that.
That's crazy.
It's just so good. But Havana says, "Come on, guys! The new Redshift tune capabilities are near real time in the IPR." Yeah.
My gosh.
You're going right to where I wanted you to go, Hosh.
Yeah, perfect. I'm happy that I did. Wait, I'm going to see if. This might be a mistake.
I'm really curious to see how it looks. I mean, I know this is a preset essentially. So it's got to be set up to render in ways that our experiments are not.
No, the presets are set up to demonstrate particles' capabilities. They're not set up to render.
Yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't make them.
I thought you made
let's see.
this.
The group does have a redshift object on it, and visibility is point instances, sphere instances. Oh, it aborted. See, even. But oh my gosh, at least the preview is real time, because what the heck? This is wild. This is almost upsetting that it can do this.
Now I do say I suggest caching things before you start trying to render, because the simulation is running on your GPU and the render is running on your GPU, so it's better to have it to be doing one of those at a time. But that leads me to another one of the new features that is in 2024.4 is that all of the unified simulation things can now be cached to external files. So your cloth, your rigid bodies, your pyro can all be cached to external files and referenced later. Great for sharing, doing stuff with the render farm, but also great just for iterating. So you can switch between caches if you've got open. It's great.
It's very cool.
Wildly useful.
You just go over to your particle group right there, cache, and then you can, when you say cache object or scene, you could do either. If I wanted just to cache the object, it brings up the save dialog because it's going to save an Alembic file for you, which is cool.
It's just so useful. It's one of those things that's not a very sexy thing to put in the marketing. Like, ooh, it caches, but
we can cache.
It's such a workflow saver, because you could have different caches for different things you've tried, and then when the client says, "Okay, go back to version 1," you don't have to go. You just reload the cache. Like, it's great.
Mm-hmm. So now it's cached. So it's even more real time than before. All the locations of these with their proper radii.
And I do also want to point out that the Toon shader currently has options to do additive particle rendering in it. Features that is soon to come to other parts of Redshift in the future. But
nice.
Yeah, you can do additive.
But the stuff that I saw from NAB coming out was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the additive particles are physically implausible, but they look pretty. So Redshift, previous to the Toon shader, didn't really have. It was really focused on being like making everything physically accurate, and additive particles are not. But they're pretty. You could fake it. Like, there's ways you could push it to fake it, but now the Toon shader has a built-in thing for making additive particles, which is great. And like I said, soon that feature's coming to other areas of Redshift, hopefully.
Now,
Maxon's trying to put Trapcode Particular out of business. Actually,
I feel like Trapcode's feeling lonely. What, Michael?
Yes.
Is there anything about Trapcode that you want to tell us?
I would like to tell you some things about Trapcode. I do have things to tell you about Trapcode. No, and this is important. Faster.
What? Faster.
Yeah, that's the important thing. It's just that it's faster, noticeably faster. Let me pull up a little. Share my screen here for a second.
I've got some clips. We want to watch some clips?
We have clips.
Oh, you have clips? Go for it.
Michael, tell us what we're looking at in these clips, if you would. So what's this?
Oh, that's Geo. We're talking about particular speed. I just want to really quick talk about particular speed. We'll come back to Geo here in a second. I do. Let me share my screen.
All right.
Share screen. Hang on. Hold.
I'm so happy that we have this.
All right.
All right.
So, here are the times on some projects. Now, if I zoom in here, you can see on this old system. See if no, it's not going to let me do that crap. All right. I'll just have to zoom in. You see,
let's just point with our fingers there.
This one, Alien Autopsy is 24 seconds, Beacon 12, Electric Eye 9 minutes 41 seconds. All right, you got that?
Those kill me.
24, 12, 9 minutes 41. All right. Now that I'm zoomed back out, go to the new particular. It's 20, 10, and 22 seconds. Remember this one was 9 minutes and 40-some seconds before?
Wait, what? It's obviously because you had it cached already, Michael.
See, you would think so. But the interesting thing is, I hit edit clear memory and disk cache, and then immediately hit render after it finished clearing. And then I uninstalled Particular, reinstalled the old Particular, and that's when I ran the old setting. So the old one I actually ran second. So it should have benefited from any cache that existed, and it did not. Another big one is this waterfall was, let's see, let me zoom back out. Waterfall was
That's so many
5
particles.
minutes, 29 seconds, goes down to less than a minute. Now this was a pretty weird anomaly. If you go to my HP settings, my HP actually rendered it faster, even though it's an older model. Something about the processor just works with faster. So instead of being 9 minutes, the HP, which is a different screen resolution, did it in 6 minutes and 7 seconds, but it sped up to 58 seconds. So again, that particular project, which is this Electric Eye one here, really benefits from the speed ups that came in Trapcode Particular. But now some of them, it's like 46 seconds down to 38. That's not too huge, but like the stacked rings, a minute difference maybe, like not that much, but some of them significant, like half the time on this waterfall one. I switch between the two
Justin
again.
is asking, is it GPU based, or what makes it that much faster? And I think it's just some clever plugging in and redoing of things.
Still CPU based. Nothing's changed there. They've just done a lot more optimizing of it. They've been working on the last release made it truly multi-threaded, which gave some speed ups, and then this one they did a lot more cachey things. It's just they've been working. They've been working for a long time on getting Particular's performance up, and this is just the fruits of their labor. And they've got more performance improvements incoming in the future releases, hopefully.
That looks almost exactly like the eyeball that I made for the Trapcode launch video in 2019 or 2020.
And in fact, it is. No, I don't know.
Well, maybe it got turned into a preset. I don't remember that. Michael, is it true that this is also the track listing for your new metal album?
Oh my gosh.
Indeed. No, seriously, you could go through all the Trapcode Particulars presets and make it pretty good albums. Justin LeDuc, just go try it out. Like here's the short version is the more complex your particular project was and the slower it was to render, the faster it'll be now than it was before.
Which is cool.
Like,
and
yeah,
it makes me happy because I would shy away from stuff once it got too complex. Like I could get a beautiful look, and I could see in like one frame. Like, I would have to balance it against the time. But now,
yeah, working with it and especially rendering it is significantly faster. Now it still has that slow startup time as After Effects caches all of the. It's basically like you're showing up at After Effects' house and being like, okay, hold this. Amazing. All right, well, that's got to be it for the stuff that Trapcode has to offer. No,
right?
Indeed, it does not. Trapcode has some more to offer. Seth, go ahead and show us what you were showing off just a second ago.
Oh, you mean this? What is this, Michael?
That is a 3D model rendered in
motorcycle with a trailer.
It's a 3D model rendered in Trapcode Geo. So is this.
What the hell is Trapcode Geo, Michael?
Trapcode Geo?
Red Giant Geo. It's a way to get 3D models. It's a way to get 3D models into After Effects with the ability to clone them and have animated textures and honestly just full control over the textures and refractions. That's a fun one there. The Trapcode Geo is making those rocks.
I don't understand. Is it making these men?
It's making the men. It's all the men are all Trapcode Geo.
Geo makes men. Everybody, look at that thing.
Geo makes this adorable little robot.
Look at that.
This is all rendered in After Effects and Geo.
So this robot was sculpted in ZBrush, textured in Substance Painter, and then brought into Cinema 4D for rigging and animating, and then rendered in After Effects using Trapcode Geo, Red Giant Geo, whatever we're supposed to call it. Red Giant Geo.
That's nuts.
From the Trapcode team.
So we don't have to use Element on the show anymore because we're scared of Cinema 4D. We can bring this right into Geo.
Look at that.
Geo works with more file formats than native After Effects import as well, but it does things like refraction. If you go to the water snake one, here's a good one. Here's what I think is really good for. Unlike the After Effects one, you can have animated textures. So
you can just link the textures right to a pre-comp or whatever.
Yeah, you can use pre-comps as a texture. So in that particular last case, you had a bump map driving how it looked, and then an animated pre-comp for the diffuse. So you had the bump map and all that lovely, beautiful 3D looking stuff going, but using your After Effects like pre-comp as the animation for it. It's great. Like it's here and this is something you cannot do and probably will never be able to do in After Effects native 3D stuff is refraction. It is not that rendering they're using is not set up for this. So if you need some sort of refraction something, this is a good way to go to. That's an animated that little water thing is animated in Cinema 4D, brought into After Effects with Trapcode Geo, and Stu just set the footage to be the refraction map. It's really cool. I can actually show you. Hang on, let me pull up After Effects here. I can show you it in action here.
Do it. Is it ready?
It's about to be here in a split second. Here you go. I'm ready to go. So I've got that guy model pulled up here for you.
Hey, guy model.
Now this statue sculpture here is sculpted by an artist in ZBrush.
This is based on you, right?
Well, if I were like David, as viewed by Michelangelo. So this model is 458,000 polygons, and it's being textured by these 3 4K maps here. And I'm in full resolution, mind, and an HD comp. And let me just let's see here. Let's just clone it. Why not? See how fast it goes on this machine. So click that button, and what's 500,000 times 12? Because that's how many polygons we've got in our scene.
Too many, some would say.
A lot. And now, here's what Trapcode Geo looks like. You've got your geometry here. By default, it gives you a sphere. Here, let me just start fresh and new. We kind of talk through it. So we'll make a solid, and we'll apply Geo.
Whoa, that's
Giant
not
Geo
what I
here.
thought it was. Sorry.
So by default, you get a sphere. Kurt Gardner does bring in text layers as Geo, not currently. Right now, you have to model it somewhere else first, but probably the future. You got sphere, plane, and custom. You can either hit choose model here and go through the library of models, which I have not loaded yet. I loaded in pretty fast. That was not so bad. There's a bunch of Cinema 4D models in here, preloaded for you, as well as a bunch of primitives. So let's say, for example, let's grab this little tube tall here, and just boom, there you go. You've got it in the scene. You can rotate it around, whatnot. Actually, let's rotate it on Z. Let's make a little wall. Let's make a little wall out of these things, like a little techie background. So anyway, here's your basic geometry. Now, like I said, you can either choose model and grab that there. I should point out you can also add your own models into this list here by hitting this little add model button, and it'll make a little custom folder down there. But you can also import models into your project, drag them down here, and then you just, from the controls on Geo, you say, pick this layer. So in this case, I imported this OBJ, automatically pick that layer. All right, so here you go. You can rotate it, scale it, size it, whatever. Oh, you can also bend it here if you're into bending things. Then under materials, here's where Geo really shines. You've got up to 5 different materials you can use depending on how many materials, or like how many models you have in your scene. So if you bring in a Cinema 4D scene with like 5 different models, you'll have a different material for each part of the model. So I'm going to go with, let's go with a little preset here of maybe chrome. Here we go, nice little chrome. And then let's make a roughness map for it. For those of you who are familiar with Redshift and roughness maps, what this is doing is saying, hey, some of this model is going to be really rough. Some of this is going to be really smooth. Let's see. Let's do swirly. I like swirly.
And
let's make it a little
swirly. That's how you appeared on all your school attendance sheets.
Yeah.
So let's make it nice and obvious what's rough and what isn't here. Get some contrast there. All right. We're going to use this layer, map. But here's roughness is all 5. And here's the important thing. When you're doing 3D, you need to add in those imperfections. So I'm going to put that to full roughness, but say instead of going full roughness everywhere, and I should probably name my layers here. So we'll call this one Geo, and we'll call this one roughness map. We're going to go to Geo, and we're going to say, hey, for the roughness, instead of being full rough all over, use the roughness map with its effects and masks. And boom, just like that, you get this really cool.
Look at that.
Yeah. And you could drop this down to make it go to completely not rough, or fully using the map, and it kind of gives you nice control. So there you go. That's how the materials work. And you've got metalness, which is all the way up since this was started chrome. Which again, all this stuff will be familiar to you if you've used Redshift before. And you even got opportunities to use bump maps here. You can use them as normal maps or grayscale height maps. Very handy for adding lots of little tiny details. Then of course you got the cloner, and I said we were wanting to make a wall out of this. So let's build the wall. We'll bring it in, and we'll say, hey, we want a bunch in Y, so I need to make that bigger. And
Memorizing.
So yeah, so now we got a nice wall that way. Then we need probably 5 in the Y. We'll go that way.
Look at this! It's so fast.
I know, just like that, we build a little techie wall. Now, of course, that doesn't look great because everything looks the same. So let's go into the clone randomizer, and we'll randomize the rotation on which angle? There's the angle we want. Lots of randomization. So now they all look kind of a little bit different for you there. And then, now we've got that all out of the way, we've got environments. I should say by default, materials have animated textures off, and same with environment. Animated environment is off. If you take it on, there's a little bit of a render time hit depending on your scene, but it's not really that huge of a deal for the projects I've been testing it on. By default, you have a sun coming in here, which is where our little falling man statue is coming from. You see this, like the sunlight is in the scene, and you've got a casting on him here. But for those of you who are curious, you can use After Effects point lights as well. So I've got a point light here and a point light there, and our 500,000 polygons times 12. It takes a second to render, but you see we've got After Effects lights are working in this scene here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so back to our comp 1 here. We could say, hey, layer, new, light, and let's make it a techie blue color. Techie blue color, point light, it's in our scene. And it responds to, here, let me turn off the sunlight so we can...
Spider-Man, turn off the sunlight.
Turn off the sunlight. Sun intensity down to 0.
Last week.
This is only lit by this light. As I pull it back, you can see how it's working there. So there, that's Red Giant Geo.
Pretty.
You got environment. You got ambient occlusion settings. You've got fog settings, and but would this be? Turn up.
But what if you were doing like visual effects or something like that, like where you,
yeah,
like this is a very cool MoGraphy, abstract thing. But like, what if you wanted to like put this inanimate or animated carbon rod into like live action footage?
Oh well. You can use your live action, like something you captured on scene, as your environment map or your refraction map, depending on what your material is made out of, to help the lighting match. So you could use HDRIs or whatnot. Maybe turn off my After Effects light, or turn it way down, I should say. Let's see. T for intensity. Put that at like 1. So this is being lit now almost entirely by our default environment map. If I choose a different one, say Studio 2, it'll be lit differently. So you can say put it in a sunny park, and it'll be reflecting and being lit by this sunny park. So that is one way that you can integrate it into your scene. Another way is if you had like a standalone model, like my little gentleman there, you can hit enable shadow catcher. I do not have a good project example for shadow catcher immediately handy, but I can put it into our little guy scene and kind of show that off real quick. Man statue. We'll go in here. We'll turn off these point lights. We'll go to Geo.
Michael showed up this morning and we're like, "You're okay doing everything on the show, right?"
Yeah.
I'm going to add a new After Effects layer here. Make it 3D, which you don't have to do, which is weird. But you don't actually have to. It would work with a 2D layer. Just assume it's right here. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees that way. This is going to be our shadow catcher. We'll put it down here under Geo here. And on Geo, we're going to say, hey, in our environment, enable shadow catcher. And our shadow catcher is going to be, should probably name it, shadow. And you know what? I'm gonna make it kind of the more or less blue color of the background, so it kind of fits in better. So there's our floor / shadow catcher, and in Geo we're going to say, for our shadow catcher, use our shadow layer.
Shadow lawyer.
Layer. Let's see, where are these people in?
Rated R.
Forget where I put him in relation to the scene. See, if I had a scene set up for it, this would be fine. See, where is he in the scene?
I'm thinking I might have a scene that could be set up for this. Let me see if I
also might have a scene that's set up.
Don't I have this?
Is this
I'll go
scene
look
set
for
up for
your scenes.
what you were thinking?
Let's see. Wait, what was that?
I'm just asking if this is useful for anything.
Definitely.
Okay, good.
Oh, I was just watching Michael's screen. I was not watching the show feed.
Oh.
Incredible. I almost removed you from the call just now. That would have been interesting.
Wow, I'm really not doing well today. Sorry, guys. Didn't know I was on that line with Hashi today.
See, I have a button on my side that'll end the broadcast. Amazing. Where?
Actually, it would remove you guys from the show is what it would do.
Well, I know I could cancel it from the YouTube side. I can go right to the source.
That's
baby.
true.
Justin LeDuc says this is a huge competitor to Element 3D. It came out in 2014. It is. It's not as fully fledged as Element, but you also don't have to jump out of After Effects to work on it, which is nice. But yeah, it's nice. It's very handy for just getting this stuff done. And what's really cool is, again, being that this is in After Effects, you can you can make Mogerts with it. So I've got this. Where'd my examples go?
Making Mogert.
I've got my Geo. I've got like this where's it? Real estate show. This one right here. I've got, come on, play. So you can make the house name and price and budget. House 2, whatever, some other stupid pun name. They never have exciting names. They're always like, oh, the Glades or whatever on those shows. But yeah, so you can make a Mogert out of this and hand that off to like a your Premiere Pro editor who's actually doing the show, and they can do all the data in there for you, which is very handy.
That's super cool.
So it's really cool. Here's, I need to get me my rock model back in this shot here. I did not move that over here, so I'm going to choose model. I think I had rock 1. Is it in the primitives or some of the 4D models? I can't remember. It's primitives. So rock 1 should be down here. R-O-C-K, that's how you spell rock. There it is, rock 1. Apply. So I just brought in a regular rock model. I've got this for the bump map, this for the color map, and then in the cloner settings, I've randomized, this rotation on all the axes, the size randomly on not just the regular size overall, but also random scaling on some of the axes as well. So you get this kind of like really big clunch of rocks. I'm gonna make lots of them. So many rocks.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just, let me get back to my camera here. Just zoom around, like with a not very complex model. Like, look how this is buttery smooth.
See, this is how I want to see asteroid fields. They're so disorganized usually.
Yes, but they're also very inaccurate. In real world, they're millions of miles. The asteroids are all pretty much millions of miles apart. So
don't take away my fun, Michael.
Yeah, quit it.
Sorry, but it would be anyway. But yeah, it's a really fun tool. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Look at that! Look at all this shit. Like, I love it.
Look at the shadow. Look, see the shadows all working nicely. Like just by default, it's just work.
It's just
Can you offset animation sampling for OBJ sequences in this? Yes.
Incredible shout out to Nate Haight and development team behind this.
What's your question? Very cool. Your question is, can you randomize the animation speed? I don't.
Ooh,
animation
good question.
Offset. I don't think so.
Can offset.
That's a very good feature request.
It's a good idea.
I mean, you can import animation sequences under your 3D model settings and offset them, but I don't know if you can do them randomly for sequences. That's a very good question.
Oh, one other thing that this has on...
That's a good feature request. I'm going to go type it up right now.
Look at that. See, that's why we have the show, is for these live feature requests.
I have lots more to show about new features. I'll be back with you momentarily. So you can write this feature request up real fast.
Load up. I think I have it saved in here somewhere. I will share my screen. I think. Whoops. Am I sharing a screen? I don't know. Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
This in the meantime.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. This is just...
It looks kind of cool. It just needs a little... it looks like your Apple Music thumbnail.
Oh, yeah, it does.
For a new album dropping.
Look at this human centipede here. This is
amazing.
disgusting and beautiful at the same time.
That's how I would describe it.
Just rotate it on Y so they could be like next to each other.
All facing each other.
Now here's a really cool thing. If you rotate on the cloner, it rotates from. It doesn't rotate all of them the same amount.
Oh, global rotation.
Look at that.
Oh wait, that's
Not
global.
That's
clone
that's
transform. Here we go.
Clone transform. Rotate it on the Y, and you'll see that they all turn differently.
What was really cool about like seeing this
if you get a new
together
machine set, that'd be great.
Is like if you're building a robust 3D renderer that's going to work inside After Effects, and you wanted to do these awesome cloning systems, there were many conversations about, well, if you want to clone it, what do you need control over? You need, how many and in what direction and how they rotate and how to randomize, and you start getting like the complexity levels just for how to choose to tile something or whatever get amazing. So I'm really proud of the system they ended up with.
Totally.
And they have a whole bunch of more features on the table.
This is horrifying.
Tyler, in Cinema 4D,
that's pretty cool.
Tyler, in Cinema 4D, not only do you have the option in the particles to randomize the animation of your things, you also have the option in the cloner. So in both the basic clone, the cloner in the MoGraph system in After Effects, you can not only randomize, but you can drive the animation of your clones by fields, meaning random fields, linear fields, spherical fields, fields based on your models, fields based on all kinds of things. But you can also, yes, you can change the offset of the animation in your particles, like we showed with the arrow scene. All those arrows were set to 0 until they stuck. That was the keyframed animation of the arrow. So if you have an animation, you can hold it until an event happens, or you can randomize it. You have tons of control. I don't want to say, anything negative about some other software, but yeah, it's improved beyond what your kitchen appliance,
your kitchen appliance
software, your Vitamix can do.
This is very fun. I kind of love it.
It's so much fun to play with. Like for example, there's this scene. Oh, I need to share my screen again.
Oh, yeah, do it. I'll switch over to you.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So this is, let me pause and go back here. This is a Cinema 4D model. You've got one texture for the glass, one texture for the screen, and one texture for the phone itself, that kind of chrome texture there. So there's 3 different textures in Geo, and then this is using a cloner. So when you hit rotate on the cloner, it rotates the middle one not at all, and rotates the other ones like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you get a lot of really,
you could have screen capture of a phone
And yes, that's the thing. If you want to do
using
just a basic phone animation,
video on there,
yeah, you can put video right here, and it's again all right inside After Effects, so you don't have to fuss around with stuff. It's great. Geo is really, really neat, easy, fun to use. Like I said here, and if you've got a low poly model like this one, it's friggin' fast. And to be honest, my 500,000 polygon model is still
on your
fast
laptop
because it's rendering it in
full. That it really is incredible.
Yeah. I don't have a camera in this scene right now. I guess I kind of do. So yeah, that's that's Trapcode Geo. It's fast, it's fun.
Geo.
Turn off my shadow catcher to get back to my little shadow catcher off. Back to my little cloned of It's Raining Men, Hallelujah, as someone else mentioned earlier. I do want to point out while we're on the subject of Geo, you can have I forgot to mention under the shadow catcher, you can say, "Hey, render shadow only" on the shadow catcher.
Hey,
which is kind of handy.
Render shadow only.
Hey, you.
So you can use your Geo layer, so you have a Geo layer, and then Geo shadow layer for more intense composite, because I know some folks in our audience are very big into compositing and being really good at it. So you have power.
I love that. That is exciting, Michael. Thank you so much for that amazing rundown.
For real.
Seth, you were just revealing something that you were working on, and I'm kind of curious to see where it was going. Yes.
I'm going to. Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see you all out there. Hashi, what are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing over here. I did want to point out, let me share this screen here. One other, oops, did I do that right? I did. Thing that I discovered is that you can import, Cinema 4D files, which is really cool with Geo. And if you use the Save for Cineware button, it means that you can use Geo to render things that have point level animation in them.
Oh, damn.
So, like, here's a fun simulation example. And first of all, like, look at this, like the sheen, and then like the back of the like leathery, like whatever.
See, I'm
cool.
picturing like a waving cloth thing for a TV graphics package saying, up next this show, and you can swap it out with text because, again, animated or your textures inside After Effects can be driven by, your pre-comps. So you could set up 100 things to render with different scheduled, up next at 8 o'clock this show. Just a little mogurt of a waving flag.
Exactly.
Cloth simulation, and you get your text and your whatever all over it. It's fantastic.
And like usually I would have done, like an OBJ sequence to be able to use After Effects to animate something like this complex, or even just like a character rig that is walking around. But in Cinema, if you bake that as point level animation, then it'll come straight through with just the Cinema 4D file, which is super cool. So just a neat advantage that I think we should use. I don't remember if I have a good example to load. Seth, you're welcome to show anyone else's screen if anyone's ready, or just we can just chill.
Split us up, actually. If you wanted to go
there we go.
Screen.
That sounds good. Look at this.
Right. Oh, and yes, Justin LeDuc, you do have some projection settings for textures. If you want to get really involved, it's better to fire up Cinema 4D or some, another DCC and like make decent UVs for a model. But again, generally speaking, you're bringing in models that are already made somewhere else, so you should be good.
Interestingly,
I don't remember what this one is.
This doesn't seem to want. Okay, we'll just do something like this.
That is. Oh yeah, one very important question we all asked ourselves when.
Can it Raptor?
Can it Raptor?
It absolutely can.
It absolutely can. So check it out.
We have some exciting things we have in store for our Live Germany show. Michael, can you remind them what time that will be and when?
I can indeed. So, folks, we are very excited about this. We are indeed going to be live streaming from Germany on May 16th, if I remember correctly. It will be at 2 in the morning for those of you on the West Coast, and for those of you on the East Coast of the U.S., it will be 5 in the morning.
Woohoo!
So 2 in the morning on,
Wake your kids
5 in the
up.
morning on Thursday, May 16th.
Wake your kids up. Do it.
It'll be amazing. It'll be like, it's even cooler than the eclipse.
No, we got a lot of really cool stuff. So for those of you who don't know, Maxon has a meeting every year where everyone comes together to like talk about the future, talk about what we are currently doing right, what we needed to do better, and just how can we better make these cool tools, and how can we better teach these cool tools to all of you. And during our annual get together, they're like, we're a very creative company, but some folks don't realize that a lot of people at Maxon do the art. So they said, what would be fun is if you all did VFX and Chill live from the summit. We will be live from Germany in front of pretty much all of our coworkers. We'll be doing this sort of business with the tools that they made.
We're going to be doing
this.
Throwing
it right in their faces.
Right here.
It'll be
You've
perfect.
made these amazing tools for high-end visual effects and motion graphics. Watch Seth's head spin.
Oh my gosh. I'm mesmerized by your screen over there.
Tyler Adams says they put all their eggs in one blender, and that single feature in Cinema 4D is making them rethink things. I mean, Cinema 4D is so much more fun to play with. I've used more than one 3D application in the past, and Cinema 4D is by far my favorite one. Number one, because it's more fun to play in, And when you're playing, you end up with happy accidents. You discover things. You stumble across stuff. So, and it's also just faster to get things set up, at least for what I do. So I love it. And yes, features like that are really neat. And yeah, it's very handy. I've got some more stuff I can show about the new Cinema 4D features if we want to unsplit things up, Seth.
Sure, why not?
Let me hop back into Cinema here.
When it's up.
Okay, it is almost up. Okay, so there's a few things that are new, and I'm going to start with something that's very, very basic.
What?
And if you can see, I've got nothing in this scene except for a cube.
No.
Yes.
Wait. I see. No,
Is it not sharing? Is it not sharing?
It's not sharing.
Try sharing again.
I've stopped sharing now, so I think you can take over it.
I'm just sharing. Okay, now.
There you are.
All right. We start over. I'm going to move this little window out of the way here. So blank scene. Here, you know what? I'll prove it. Close it out. Complete the blank scene. Right? Add a cube. Now, a lot of people didn't really know it existed. And I'll show you what it's useful for. Let's go here to our models in our asset browser. I don't know. Let's go to kitchen, grab a glass. Let's say this is a table. We want to take this beer mug that's right here. I'm going to say this beer mug goes on this table. Now, in earlier versions of Cinema 4D, when you drag a model into the scene, it'd just be in your scene, and then you have to try to put it up here and place it on the on top of your table exactly right. And it's a pain to do it, but the place tool makes it really easy. Well, now, anytime you grab a model right here from the asset browser, it automatically goes into place tool mode. And you're like, what does a place tool do? Well, if you'll see, I put it up next to anything in your scene, any geo, and it automatically places it on that face, which is quite handy.
What?
So then when you let go, boom, there it is. And you can scale it, and with the place tool, and it'll stay on there and rotate it just real easy, quickly. So this is great if you're set dressing. You just want to throw a bunch of stuff on a table. It's fantastic. Let's grab this mug, let it download for a second, and then we got it. We can put it on this one. See, you can literally put it on. You put stuff on things. Let's put another beer mug on. Set it on that. So yeah, it's great. It's just but again, it's just one of those little workflow things that it's not a very sexy, flashy, markety thing, but it just makes working in Cinema 4D better and faster, and that's the kind of thing that I really like. Let's see. But yeah, that was one thing I definitely wanted to talk about, was that.
Nice.
I did not know about that placement tool.
Oh, hang on. I feel I can. Yeah, you know what? No, go on. I'll show something else later. You carry on.
Excellent. What have you done?
I'm creating a new pre-show loop. I'm making one with my face and one with your face. That's just disgusting. Face rotations. I need to see some more glasses in here.
Yeah, surprising lack of glasses in there.
All right, let's see. What if I randomize the scale? Whoa.
Goodness. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I am just... I want to combine a bunch of things, which is maybe silly, but I really want to. I'm going to create a...
Visual Media, is there a special button to activate that place tool? There is. Hang on, let me open Cinema 4D back up again, and I'll share. But yeah, there's a little button. Actually, Hashi, you can just point to it. It's right there to the left. Left.
And then, where is it?
Place tool is, no, all the way to the left. It's one of the tools. So see where the... That's the dynamic place tool. Not that one. Oh. Up one from the dynamic place. That one.
Okay.
The dynamic place tool. Actually, you know what? Select the dynamic place tool right now.
Whoa.
Now scale it in. Use that scale. Use the scale. Scale it in. A scale. Grab the little. No, go back to the dynamic place tool. You'll see you've got. Hang on. Before you do anything, you'll notice you've got scale, position, and rotation stuff all on that one gizmo, right? So scale in on the blue. Grab the blue square and pull it in. Keep going. What? Keep going all the way in. Then do the red. Do on the red. Now you notice they aren't. And now rotate it. So they're like up and down. So they're vertical.
Yep.
Like that. Now move it. Now move them down. Just grab them and move them down.
What?
See?
Are you kidding me? I didn't know where you were going with that.
it automatically does the dynamics simulation based on anything in your scene. So whatever you have selected, you can scale them in and they'll smush together into a little pile. You can scale them out and they'll spread out. You can rotate them.
I was trying to put the lamppost right on the ground for dynamic purposes, so it won't.
So this is great for making like a pile of books. You have to use the dynamic placement tool, not the regular placement tool, and it works with whatever you have selected. So it's great for making putting like a bunch of pencils in a cup. You can put a bunch of pencils in a cup. You can put a pile of books on a book. Like you want a book to be tilted over on a bookshelf just slightly. It's way easier to use this than using the standard old place. You don't need to put a dynamics tag on anything. You don't need a dynamics tag on that. Turn that off. You don't need.
That was a good point. I was just wanting to say, if you had little barrels or something like that, and you wanted to make a thing, so I could go like this, and I could say down.
Well, this is a dynamic place tool, so it'd be a lot more fun if you've got it tilted.
Can I see?
If you're asking if you can make the ground more frictiony,
I'm asking if you can you duplicate?
Oh yeah, just duplicate a bunch of. You go to the normal move tool and control drag. Just control drag a whole bunch of them out. Yeah. Then select them all. You have to select them first. Yeah. And then grab the dynamic place tool.
And then
scale them together to make a pile. Yeah.
Look at this.
It's so much fun.
I'm a Fallout warehouse building.
Now stop for just a second and look at your attribute manager. Bottom right. You've got controls down there for stuff like friction and stickiness, bounciness, and all kinds of stuff. Oh, also, grab. Here, pull them up in the air.
I could make a little ship.
Pull them up in the air.
This is full of a bunch of junk rolling around.
Pull them up in the
air. Oh my gosh! Did you see how fun that was? Look. Sorry, guys. You've lost me. You've lost me for the rest of the show.
That's awesome.
Hashi, put it up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Now grab them like you're going to start moving them.
Okay.
Then hold shift and let go of your mouse button. And while you're holding shift.
What?
As soon as you let go of shift, it'll stop.
No.
Yes. Is this not the most fun thing ever?
So if I were just set dressing a room, I would just be like, I want a bunch of these cylinders. I'm going to move them over here, and then I'm just going to say, you hold it down. There we go.
And then let go of them. Yeah.
And then I'll wait till right there.
Yep. So for set dressing, those two tools are very useful. First of all, if you want to put like a cup on the table, you'd grab the regular place tool, so you could just put it on, like, to sit on the table. But then when you want to fill that cup on the desk with pencils, or some, you want to put some books on a bookshelf, the dynamic place tool lets you like move stuff around with knowledge of other things that are in the scene. Like it's,
oh my gosh,
those two tools together are so great, and they've been in Cinematic 4D for a little while now, but so many people don't know about them. So my hope,
I didn't know about them.
Yeah, so my hope is that as people go to grab, as they learn, there's a lot of really, really useful stuff in the asset browser. They'll grab it, pull it out, and notice, oh, this tool's very handy, and they'll look over and notice they flip to this tool, and then right underneath it, there's that dynamic place tool. I'm hopeful that more people will start learning what this is and how to play with it, because it's so useful.
That is super cool. It would have been really fun to know when I was whoops, what is that? Never mind. I thought I had a good example project. On. Seth, what are you doing?
Something important, I guess.
Amazing. Dynamic place. Oh my gosh.
I should have warned that it's going to probably kill the rest of the show as you play with it. It is a lot of fun to play with. Like, it really, really is.
What are we broadcasting here? Did I just lose? Did I lose?
Did you?
I don't know. I just see you full camera and not your and not the OBS feed.
Really?
Yeah.
We just see your face.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Did we lose the stream? That is weird. Turn virtual
or did your camera just default back to your camera?
It's not even showing up anymore. as an option.
Interesting. Well,
everyone, are we still streaming out there?
The stream's still live.
Stream's still live. We're even plugged into stuff still.
All right, I'm gonna quit.
Whoa!
I'm quitting Skype. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That means everybody at home, it's just going to be us for a second. So
weird.
Why don't I just leave you with this for a second?
He's got a drop going. There we go.
Are we back?
I think that we're back, everybody.
It looks like we're back.
That
it was a Skype thing. It's a Skype thing. You wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
All right. Are you ready to see something else
Skype
then?
gives us
Wait,
news. No,
surely there's
no. We're not ready for new things. We're working on important things right now.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go back to important things.
I've stopped sharing. Grab it.
But it's fine.
You can hop in there.
No, it's fine. You go ahead.
I had nothing.
You sound passive aggressive, Michael.
But I don't feel passive or aggressive. Wait, no, I feel passive and not aggressive. That's what I meant to say.
Wait, why isn't this? Okay. What? This is doing something weird.
I can't tell what's going on. Is it just sharing my
oh, sorry. We're split. We're
doing screen?
It's sharing your Cinema 4D just blank. Or somebody's.
That must be the freeze frame from when I stopped sharing and started caring. It doesn't quite work, but workshop in it. Goodness, we became completely silent.
Well, it's because this new stuff rules.
It's so fun to play around with. I'm just torn between whether I want to play with particles or I want to play with Geo stuff. I think, okay, I'm going with particles and these crazy dynamic placement tools. What the heck? Which I'm going to pretend are basically new because they're new to me.
While you're in Cinema 4D, I do want to say there are quite a few more new features in Cinema 4D than just particles. The simulation features now have a whole new, refreshed connector object that now supports dynamic objects in rigid body simulations. So you can hook a bunch of rigid bodies together to each other to build up things. But, I mean, you've been able to do it in the old billet system before, but now you can do it much more dynamically. And the new dynamic connectors also work on the old bullet system. So if you are still using a bullet system...
Wait, they do?
The new dynamic connectors work on the new rigid bodies. I already mentioned external caches for each simulation type, but there's another new thing in rigid bodies and in cloth is they now have aerodynamic forces for lift and drag.
Impossible.
Meaning if you... Hang on. I'm just going to pull up... I'll just make an example real quick.
Do it.
If I can get my computer to behave, get Skype out of the way.
Take a little cloth tag, go to the tag, go to the dresser, and...
Actually, instead of jumping back and forth, I can walk you through making a big demo of it.
I'm just going to grab some corner points right here, and I'm just going to tell them...
Justin, the narrative for today is there's a ton of new tools, and we love them.
We love them.
That's today's narrative. This has been one of the most widely positively received Cinema 4D releases in a while, and I thought Pyro was going to be like a big thing. But people were like, "That was fine, but I wanted blah blah blah." But this one, like everyone's like just been super positive and super excited about it. which is
I love when people out there are excited about stuff.
Me too.
And it's so cool that you got to go show this off at NAB.
I was mostly showing red gianty things. It's kind of more what I ended up doing. But yeah, I got to show some of this off. I barely got to play with the particles at all, actually, because there's a bunch of other people showing off particles, and I was doing other stuff. But yeah, I get to play with it a little bit. I'm very excited. Yes, as longtime viewers of the show know, particles are some of my favorite things. So I'll be playing with them. Ah, look at that! I'll be playing with them a lot.
Just doing junk that you could already do before, but then you could also go like. Now I can say simulate, add a little emitter, or, whoops, too far away. Actually, let's see what happens if it's over here. Put it there, and then we'll say simulate. We're going to modifiers, collide, forces, gravity. Oops, might need a few more steps in there. My cloth is too bendy. And my emitter, I'm going to bring over here. And just for funsies, let's see. So if I press play, these particles are probably really small. Ah, look at that, they're bouncing off the thing. Okay. Here is where you either need more geometry or more collision steps here. Simulation. Let's do those and a couple more on these. Oh, look at that. You can pour salt on your simulations now. Wait, let's make these more visible. Let's make the radius of these be larger and then tell it to draw the radius in a group. And this is one of those things where it'll be very valuable for you to go watch Noseman's info on how this all works. Okay, and these need to have more friction, less bounciness. And I can tell it to use the radius for the collision, I think. Contact on radius. There we go. Now, if you're doing a simulation, they're going to interact when they actually hit. Nice. Oh, this is so fun. Seth, you're looking good over there.
I think so too.
Let me know when you're ready for me to demo something.
Oh, please.
Michael wants to learn more things to us.
No, it's just...
Oh no. There we go.
Demo, just share anytime.
All right,
maybe.
Let's see. Yeah. Let me see if it'll... Is it sharing? Is it good?
Almost. Yes, it's sharing. Let me get over to just you. All right.
Okay, so here we go. All I've got is a plane in a cloner, and I just threw a cloth tag here in the cloner. Move this out of the way. And here, you can see all kinds of fun stuff. But under forces, we've got drag and lift now. So if I hit play without messing with that, they're just going to fall down. No fun at all. But I'm going to give them some drag and lift. Let's put that kind of there, and let's see if it makes a difference. Oh, you see that they're kind of they're moving differently now.
Yes.
Very handy. So now you've got the ability to let me move up here. You got the ability to do all kinds more stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. What do I need to do? There's one thing I need: mass. I need to make this a lot less. 0.001, I think, would probably be better to get more of a papery feeling, because it doesn't know how thick and heavy these things are supposed to be. So if I can... Oh, why are you not working? My computer really is not like Skype and simulating on the GPU at the same time.
Skype is a huge computer power and GPU hog.
But it delivers the news now, guys. It delivers the news.
Oh, I mean,
they're doing the things it doesn't need.
You don't have to use it for video conferencing, but for all of my latest news feeds, I'm so thankful that my video conferencing software can finally provide.
Let me try something. You go back to what you're doing, and I'll try something else real quick.
Fine.
I'm having an issue with the
throwing dots into
maybe I need to just quit
paper.
VFX and open it back up. I've got something weird going on with Geo. I'm gonna go just to you, Hush.
So all I'm doing is I love this ridiculousness.
Luke and Dad Productions says stop using Skype. It's not 1998. Luke and Dad Productions, if you can come up with a video conferencing solution that plays video smoothly and lets us do these sort of multi-screen sharing solutions,
has NDI output from it to be able to go into OBS. Tell me, and I'll do it.
It's true. We've tried several other things on the show, and this is the one that you'll see in our early seasons.
Luke and Dad, you got leducked. You got to keep yourself from getting leducked.
Yeah, Leduc says Skype came out in 2003. Boom, got him.
Gosh, sorry I talked over you, but I felt
amazing. Look at this. This is so fun. I don't think I can use this particle system without just loading this color rainbow as my default for whatever I'm doing.
This is going to be a Bravia drop from now on. We'll just start playing gentle guitar music while bouncy balls fall.
Now, okay, so if an object already has the tags on it and I wanted to move them around, is that a thing? Or they need to not have tags on them?
If you're talking about the dynamic placement tool, they do not need any tags on them. You just grab the objects that you want to move around dynamically. So select them, grab the dynamic place tool.
Wait, now why? What did I do? Did I?
Interesting. Oh, you're in points mode. Go back to model mode.
Thank you.
And grab the dynamic place, not the scatter pen. Also a very handy tool for building up stuff. But
nice. So I can set these right in the cloth. Okay, I was curious to see if it would stretch the cloth.
No, it just works as a placement.
It's just a placement collision.
Right, because it's not part of the dynamic simulation system. It's not part of the unified dynamic system. It's just a whole separate thing for quickly. It doesn't use it. Cool. It does not use the simulation system. It's its own separate little fast dynamics thing for quickly placing stuff. Actually, here, what's really interesting is just go to the dynamic place tool, click on it, select a bunch of objects first, or one or two actually, and then go to the dynamic place tool, and then in the bottom it says
4 elements.
Nope, you have to click on the dynamic place tool to get the settings to pop over there. There's a visualize colliders button at the bottom, a little tick box right there, so that shows you what it's doing.
This is my new aesthetic, everyone.
It basically builds a low poly mesh around everything on the fly immediately, and then uses that to run this little fast dynamic simulation on.
I could animate it's like a dung beetle creating a little.
It is like a little dung beetle.
Insane. Just what I've always wanted. The dynamic it's such a good idea. Look at that. So I can move stuff around, but place it and not have to worry about intersections, and that is incredible. And I wish I had understood it, because just a teeny bit ago I was messing with this thing. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. Well, this guy right here, where I needed to place a bunch of these objects. Let me see. Where's my... Place a bunch of objects in space so that if you happen to be right here... This camera... Oh, get rid of the protection tag. Not in the right place. There we are.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. I wanted to try to figure out how to create this little Maxon logo. And I did this with a bunch of turbulence. But the idea was I wanted to do one of those sculptures where it's like, oh, crazy random pieces floating through the air or whatever. And then you get to the right angle and you've got them there. And
that's really
cool. If I had known that I could have used the dynamic place tool, so if I were moving something, I would know it was going to bump into something else. Ah, that would have been so nice.
Yeah. Yes, it would. Yes, it would have.
It even existed when I made this. Weak sauce. But
it's all right.
This is not part of the show. It's just a logo I had to make for something. Amazing.
Right. Ready for me? I think it's ready. Might be ready for me to go. Ready to see it?
Excellent.
Let's see. Ready?
Pick a card, any card.
And you get. Let me get some more time on my timeline here. But you can see. I'll move a little bit more. I'll just hit play. And you'll see they fall and give you that kind of nice paper swirly.
They have the aerodynamics in them.
Yep. And this is
they don't just fall randomly.
Right. Yeah, they're not just falling randomly.
They're catching a wave. Look at that.
Right. I can turn this lift up a little more. Let me put this up to like 90%.
If only we had had some instance where we needed to simulate a bunch of falling papers from the sky.
Right. This new feature would have been very handy for that.
Which, Seth, that means that your loop is lost to history also from last week.
Has lost what?
You also made a loop last week that is now lost to history.
Oh, I did. I'll have to. I'll post it on the Instagram.
Perfect. If you're not following VFX and Chill on Instagram, you should. It's totally free.
It is free, but not. I want to point out, as this is falling, the only thing that's in this scene is this plane, this cloner, and a random effect so that the sheets of paper are all like slightly different angles. There's no dynamics. Like, there's no turbulence in the scene. There's no anything other than default gravity and this cloth tag. All this movement is happening from this one little lift parameter. I changed the here. I changed the mass to 0.001. Then under forces, cranked the lift in this case to 90%.
Change the bendiness to like 2. You
want to change the bendiness to 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it more like paper.
There you go. Get that work plane out of the way. Awesome. This one is really catching the wind up here.
Dang.
Some.
See, now we're setting ourselves up for the the Great Airplane Challenge, where we need to
Oh yeah,
create little paper airplanes that just use aerodynamic forces.
You can, and you can make them like origami. Because Chris Schmidt's amazing presentation at last year's NAB, but he was using the new cloth tools to fold up origami paper sculptures. You can use those with this now and have them like fly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I just want to show that. That's one of my favorite things.
That's super valuable. Look at that effect.
That's awesome.
Oh, one more thing. I
swear I've had to I've needed to do this specific effect, and it's always just out of the blue, and I don't want to figure it out.
Yeah. Actually, no more thing. I'm good. That is it.
No one more thing?
Not one more thing? You gotta have one more thing.
No, we're good. I'm not Tim Cook.
Yes, you are.
Well, see, I went Peter Falk. What kind of Columbo?
Oh, Columbo. Yes, Columbo.
See, he and Tim Cook. All about that. One more thing.
There is one more thing. I'm trying to remember. That was a handy little workflow thingy. Hashi, are you up sharing?
I'm just recovering from. I don't think I'm sharing right now. I was watching the paper sims fall.
Yeah. Okay. So here. I remembered what it is. Okay. Get off the dynamic place tool.
Okay.
Like just click on any other tool. Go to your asset browser.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the HDRI section. Get off materials. Go over into all. Click HDRI.
Yeah. Wait, there we go.
Yep. Drag one of those into your scene. Just drag it into the scene.
I really like this one.
So watch what happens when you drop it in your scene.
Wait.
It's downloading.
Because isn't it just creating a new material or doing something? What's happening?
Wait, did you drop it on a material? Don't drop it on a material. Drop it on the sky. Just drop it on the background.
I think I did. Wait, maybe I didn't. Oop. Oh, yeah, there we go.
There you go. Download.
Let go too quick.
Then, wait, hang on. What render are you using?
Oh, that's why.
Settings. Go into Redshift.
Fine.
Well, he does
now
that.
do it. You have to be in Redshift for this to work because it's the Redshift feature. Drop it into your scene, and then boom. There you go. Redshift dome light. So instead of having to make a dome light, then go find your texture and put it on there, you just throw it in your scene. Now grab another one and throw it in the scene. Will it make another dome light, do you think? Or will it?
See, we're going to just bloat our
handily,
scene. What? I picked the same
one that looks very visually different. Will it make a second dome light? Or don't drag it onto the object.
Sorry.
It will. Boom. Just swaps the texture on the dome light.
Ooh.
So if you have the HDRIs already downloaded, or you put your own HDRIs into this database, you can just immediately, quickly try different HDRIs right there in your right there without having to go find the dome light in your object manager, drag the material over onto that one little slot. You just slap it onto the background, and you automatically get dome light.
That's nuts.
Gosh. We got some cloth. Fabric. That's what I mean. Fabric for this thing. Let's use this one. And then let's go.
Simulate it first a little bit before you do this, so we can enjoy the folds in the fabric. Now fire up your renderer.
I made it too bouncy. Bounce that one thing right out. Oops. Oh, red. And
now you don't have to do this, Hashi. You can go to the red if you want to.
You can go home and see your family like any other day.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, you don't have to open up the separate window. You can have Redshift happening in your viewport if you'd prefer. So close that window. Stop it and close that window. And then up in the Redshift to your left, down. Not up, not that one. Down to your viewport controls. Left. Start IPR. That would get you Redshift right here.
RRH. Or RSRH.
It's called Viewport IPR or Viper, if you want to sound like...
Viper!
Yeah. Something cool from the early 90s.
Crazy. But wait, I don't like this location anymore.
That's the closest to a Viper drop that I have.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I want to see what this would look like more like in a brighter interior, happy setting.
Michael, anything interesting happened in the chat? I can't see it from where I am.
JJ Jesse says that Hashi's Maxon logo thing was cool. Justin Leduc says we need a You Got Leduc splash screen, but also Loki wants to see what you've been working on this whole time.
What's that?
He says he wants to see what you've been working on this whole time.
It's almost better that it doesn't work correctly.
It really is. VFX and Chill, the thing that doesn't quite work.
The drops are apparently very loud, Seth.
Oh, are they? Wait, do you mean like, let's see, is this loud? Was that loud?
Is it like... Hey, perfect. Are you going to start? Are you going to like apply some like bump map, like some practical noisy bump maps to give your 3D model any sort of texture?
Well, I was trying, but I was hitting some weird issues in Geo. I think it's the way that I kept resetting the plugin like repeatedly, trying to do new things, that I messed something up. And anyway,
But yeah, have a play with that. Just go over to your Maxon One, update your cinema, your Red Giant plugins, and everything like that. And
we do need to talk about the tune shader in Redshift. Someone in the chat has been very excited about it. If you've ever used Cinema 4D's Sketch and Tune,
we could do a
standard
whole episode
material
on the tune
stuff.
shader because we have an intro we've been taking our time on that would actually fit a tune shader related episode.
That's a good idea. I just want to call it out.
Okay.
If you're used to Cinema 4D's old Sketch and Tune shader, the speed with which Redshift's new one works is going to make you so happy. So happy. Now, it's not as fully fledged as Sketch and Tune as far as getting really sketchy looks like overshooting and like really distorted lines, but
there are some phenomenal results with it, though. I've seen
really gorgeous ones. You could like driving.
It's going to become a whole thing.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more non-photorealistic renders from Cinema 4D artists very shortly.
Finally. My goodness. I can't. My brain is just swimming from all of the knowledge that was dropped here today. I wasn't expecting this much new. I can't even construct proper sentences anymore. This is ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. I actually was, to be completely honest, I was thinking this episode was going to possibly be less exciting than some of, because I get excited about our goofy centric, like our episodes where we focus on doing something really stupid for an entire episode. And this was like us doing our job. So I honestly was a little hesitant about it. This stuff rules. Like I could sit here for like 4 more hours just messing with the stuff and live streaming it to Justin LeDuc and 2 other guys. But I am there's more of you out there. And I'm thrilled with how this episode went. I'm thrilled with these things, and I can't wait to get to messing with them more.
Brian Murray says, this week's episode, as a software developer, is it funny that they wasted 2 hours of their day watching highlights and enhancements made to another company's software instead of working on their own? No, these enhancements are great fun. No,
Brian Doyle
shade.
Murray, who you definitely are. That's reference to Bill Murray's brother, in case you're not familiar. I didn't just weirdly insult you by adding Doyle to your middle name. I really love to railroad this show right to a grinding halt with my jokes.